Hey, how's it going, guys? It's AGamesAlot, and before I just want to start this video off, I'm going to say if you do not like angry little kids going off about stupid stuff, then I would just go ahead and click off this video now if you haven't already. So, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about in this video how just in general food is so overpriced these days if you look at it. I mean, like, look at all the fast food restaurants. They always got these McPick 2 for 2s or whatever. Burger King's got that, like, 4 for 4 section going on. I don't know how the heck that works. Because, you know, I never eat there. Fast food? No, not me. Anyway, just, like, I know that they seem cheap because it's 4 for 4 sandwiches, $4 for 4 sandwiches, and that seems good price and everything. I know it seems alright. But, like, if you think about it, those things have a lot of calories. They don't even seem to fill you up. Like, you gotta spend like 30 bucks at one of those places just to get a filling in. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. That's the point of this video anyway. I mean, like, you go to Olive Garden, people always talk about how Olive Garden seems fancy and everything. It's not fancy. They just got decent food that can fill you up. And you don't get that these days anymore. You just don't. Like, I mean, you get all these random places like McDonald's and Burger King, Hardee's Jr., Carl's Jr., whatever it's called. All these random fast food places that will make all these certain deals, but you never seem to actually want to go there. Like, what made you look on TV, see a commercial that was like, oh, 4 for 4 or whatever, that looks good, let's go there. Or have you ever seen like a chicken Alfredo commercial for Olive Garden and been like, let's go there? I personally love chicken Alfredo, but I mean, that's just like the point. Like, you gotta seem like what's more appealing. I mean, I don't know how McDonald's is still in business. Probably the fact like 50 billion people a day probably go to one little joint that they got right there. I mean, heck, I got one near where I live. I got one walking distance. By the time I walk there and walk back, I could lose all the food. I could lose all the calories I just lost from eating there. I mean, it doesn't work like that. You gotta step up your game. McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's. You gotta like make some more deals. Get like a 2 for 4 deal going on. I don't know. I just don't see why they do that every day. And then, like, alright, on the subject of McDonald's, we'll stick with that for now. You get, like, those Big Macs. I don't know when the heck Big Macs were introduced. Crap, hold on, let's look this up. Just, when was a Big Mac introduced? Alright, let's find this out. 1967 is when they introduced the Big Mac. 1967. This thing is 563 calories. You tell me in the 1960s, late 1960s, let's just put it that way, they had the idea to put diabetes inside of a burger. Diabetes inside of a burger. Who gave them the idea? Heck, when the heck was McDonald's introduced? When was McDonald's made? April 15th, 1955. So you're telling me 12 years after they even established the restaurant, they came up with diabetes into a burger. And don't get me wrong, I mean, they got quarter pounders with cheese and all that, but just the fact that probably their most fattening burger on their menu was released 12 years after the, I don't know, the founding of the restaurant. And here we are, 2016, and it's probably still the most fattening thing on their menu. Unless you get like a triple extra large chocolate shake. I don't know how it works, and McDonald's is screwing up. I mean, and they got Subway, which, I mean, their motto is eat fresh, but I mean, you had Jared Fogle, and he was sure eating fresh, if you catch my drift. But just, you gotta have, like, he's like, alright, explain to me why Subway has been doing decent and McDonald's and Burger King hasn't. Because, I mean, McDonald's, Burger King, all those places, they get their food out to you like that. Like, in an instant, they get their food out to you. I mean, doesn't that seem a little weird how their food just gets out perfect? Probably because it's pre-cooked. Actually, I don't know anything about fast food restaurants other than I eat there a lot. But, I mean, think about it. Why in the world would they have your food out? Like, in the drive-thru, you pull up, if it's an open drive-thru, you pull up into the drive-thru. You go in, you order your food. You could order a food for a family of 6, and they'll either have your food entirely ready as soon as you pull up to the window, or they'll have nothing ready and they'll make you pull out to the driveway and be like, alright, in order to, you know, not keep the wait going, we're gonna have to make you pull out there. And then you'll either wait for 10 seconds or 20 minutes. Like, I don't know why they do that. Like, I ordered my food. You're a fast food restaurant for a reason. This ain't Olive Garden. You don't have to take time seasoning my burger and everything. If I'm going to a fast food restaurant, it's because I just want something quick that I can eat in the car. And just, I don't know how to do this. And like Subway, they don't have a drive-through, so that people go in, they can talk to their buddy or whatever, talk to their father, mother, parents, grandfather, I don't know, adopted parents, whatever you have. And then they just can talk while they order their food and have a nice little social conversation, which I'm not very good at, by the way. So then you can like see them like put all the stuff in their food, nice and seasoning, put it in the oven and toast it. Just the joy of that. It's like all those Japanese restaurants, how you have like sake, where they like chop up the food in front of you and like flip their knives up in the air. Like, how do you do that? Do people go to like a college for that? Knife flipping Japanese college? Is that a thing? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know. I don't know why they decided to do that. Like, I love the showing and everything. The showing is amazing, but like, if you're not gonna like have that be your main part, that's probably the reason why most people didn't go to Japanese restaurants, is because, let's be honest, the food isn't as good as what you can make at home. Homemade steaks, I love homemade steaks, straight on the grill. Oh, they're amazing. But I mean, the show, the feeling of it's probably worth half the flippin' meal. I mean, if you think about it, what are you gonna go to a Japanese steakhouse for? The food, or for the showing, the presentation of it? It's so amazing. I've only been to one in my life so far. And it's just so cool how they like flip the food around, they got their spatulas, they clang them. Or like, what's that place? Like B&D or B&B Mongolian barbecue or something like that. Like you bring, oh crap, what do you do? It's been so long. You like get like your bowl of food or something, you bring it up, and then they like will throw it onto this huge stove and just like cook it with like these long spatulas, and they'll just throw it on the stove and whisk it around. It's so cool, like, because you can watch your own food get cooked, you can watch other people get cooked, but then if you think about it, that could also be really like personal. Like, what happens if someone is like a vegetarian, so maybe they're not even getting anything cooked, but they like cooked cucumbers or something. So they're just gonna bring their bowl, they're full of lettuce and cucumbers and peppers or whatever, and then everyone's gonna look at them and be like, oh, it's vegetarian, God, what a flippin' loser, gosh. And then you're gonna look at a guy who maybe he likes like really rare steak, so he's just gonna get this big heaping bowl of steak. He's gonna go up to that cook, and before he answers the voice, he's gonna be like, I don't like it cooked very well. So you're going to see yours already being cooked, and you're going to see this huge thing, a pile of steak just get thrown onto the grill. And then all of a sudden, you hear some sizzling, like, oh man, that's a lot of steak, he's going to get cooked. 2 seconds later, it's off the grill back into that guy's bowl, and he's already chowing down to the table. Think about that. I mean, like, how would you feel about that if you were one of the two sides? If you were a vegetarian and you saw someone with all that meat, if you were not a vegetarian and you saw someone with all those vegetables, you would feel pretty weird, unless you're a normal human being, which is what I'm guessing 99% of the human population isn't these days. But what are you gonna do? I don't know, man. It's just weird how all these presentations can show you that. But like at the sake house, as I'm going back there, they don't necessarily give you your own choices, so it's not people can judge you on that, so it's like a little bit of a plus. But then if you go back to McDonald's, they don't show you anything. You pull up, you drive 2 seconds later, and your food's already there. Full course banquet meal, 5 million calories, there you go, hatch out wag, there, it's already there. Like, what are you gonna do about that? There's nothing you can do. Are you gonna own McDonald's one day? Probably not. I mean, how many, there's probably dozens and dozens of McDonald's just straight in, like, I don't know, Tallahassee, Florida. I don't know, any random state. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Fucking hell, I don't know. There's like all these fast food restaurants and all these chains just mashed together. And then some of them will like cope together. Like there was like those KFC and Subway mashes. You could walk in, get yourself some fried chicken and go order a Subway sandwich and just chow down. Heck, get yourself just bread and throw your flippin' chicken in there. I don't know, combine it. Get like a Chipotle bowl and like dump it into your Subway and then dip it in flippin' mashed potatoes and gravy. Do whatever you want. Heck, you could combine every single one of these restaurants I talked about. You could go get yourself some Big Mac sauce, get some 4 for $4 McBurgers, you could get Arby's, we have the meats, you get some Subway bread, get some Chipotle rice, some Chipotle sauce, just nice and easy, grilled onto the fire. You can throw all that stuff into a Mongolian grill and have them cook it right in front of you. You can have everyone judge you about everything. You don't even have to eat it. You could just watch the showing of it. You could watch how everything gets cooked, everything, all the lathering, all the sauces get just soaked into your vegetables or your meat. It just looks beautiful, and you don't know what you're going to do about it, except you just don't know, because you're either going to eat it, or you're just going to never touch it again in your life, except for the showing. I mean, I don't get it. If I get something to eat, I'm going to eat it, because I'm hungry, and I want food. That's just me. But like, if you're one of those guys that don't eat much, like you're like 7'5" or whatever, and you weigh like 200 pounds, like, and then all you eat is like 2 calories a day. Like, you just have yourself like a piece of lettuce and you're done with it. Like, I can get it if you want to do that, but that's not healthy. And the fact that you could get so much more for just, I don't know, man. It just grinds me, like drills me like that. You hear that? Ah, God. I'm rumbling around my chair. My chair's probably making so much noise. I can't even hear my heartbeat anymore because it's probably going 15 miles a minute and I can't even hear myself think. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and then all of a sudden you get speedways, like gas stations. But like these gas stations, the speedway where I live, it just like blew up. They tore it down. They built a brand new one. It's like the biggest one in my state that I live in. Heck, it might be the biggest one in the United States. I don't know. It's got like a full-on outside dining cafe, a pizzeria. You can get probably 15,000 different flavors of like a Speedy Freeze. It's just insane how all that stuff gets put into one little gas station. Out of everything it could have got put into, a gas station. Like, you're going to go to a gas station 99% of the time to get gas. You're not going to go inside and be like, oh man, what flavor my Speedy Freeze I want, or what toppings on my pizza. Oh man, maybe I'm looking for some computer RAM. Like, no, you're going to be getting gas at a gas station. It's in the name. Oh, speaking of gas station, what happens if we had a food station? Like, you know, like all those like buffet places like they have in colleges sometimes, where you can just like go in and you can make something. Like, you can go in and throw anything into like 2 buns and you slather some sauce on there, throw in some vegetables. There you go, you got yourself a food court, whatever. That's what they're called, food courts. Like, what happens if we just make something called that? Food stations, where it's like a gas station, but instead of the gas, it's food. Just picture that for a moment. You know how weird that would be? Just like people going in and being like, oh, where'd you go? Oh, I went to the food station. Oh, what'd you get? Some steak fries, some hamburgers, some A1 sauce, got some ketchup lathered onto my lettuce here. I'm gonna myself a little lettuce chow down burger. I just, like, imagine how weird the world would be. And then we got the election coming out, and you never know. Donald Trump might flip in, become president, and be like, oh, food stations, that's a great idea. We're gonna make spray tan stations where you go in, put credit card in a machine, it takes $3 million, and then boom, you get a spray tan like that. Like, just, whoosh, like it sprays it on you, like it scans your body and just goes, whoom. Like, it's so weird. And back on the topic, because this is all translating back to the food topic and how food is just not right for its own kind. I mean, if you think about it, food is a really big thing. You need it for, like, life. Like, if you don't have food, you're dead. It's as simple as that. You don't got food, you're dead. I mean, some people need it more than others. Some people like it more than the others. Some people don't even like the taste of food. They just need it because they have to have it to live. I just don't see how people can live like that, you know? Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, we got food and everything, I love food. And then you got people that are just like, dang, you know, if I had some food right now, I probably wouldn't care. I probably wouldn't eat it. Like, how? I mean, I understand, I'm a biggin, I like food, I love food, but I just don't get how people can, like, talk about how they don't want to eat food. Like, they could wake up and be like, nah, I didn't have anything for breakfast, I'm probably only gonna have like a piece of lettuce for lunch, and then talk about, for dinner I might spoil myself and get two cucumbers plus an extra, I don't know, an extra fry or something, an extra potato skin, I don't know. People are completely different. Every human being has their own different little attributes, elements of themselves that make themselves up, even though we're all made of the same elements, technically science related. That's a nerd topic for another day. But I just don't understand how people can do those sorts of things with food. Like, you take food, go back into the very beginning of this rant, you take food, you give themselves a deal, not a very good deal at that, but you give themselves a deal, you give your customers a deal, and it doesn't work. You get deals that people don't want to have. Like, it's as simple as that. If you want a good deal, talk about your customers. Put like a flippin' poll on the board. Right, put a check mark here, like an election or something. Elect for 2 for 4 deals or 3 for 4 deals with 450 deals. I don't know, something like that. That's just like a way. It's just like how YouTube channels work, where they can post a poll saying, what game do you guys want me to play? Elections, what president do you want? You go and vote. It's just like a simple thing like that that could change the entire way we think of life, or a certain aspect of life, like food or the election or anything. I mean, if you think of it all, food is technically the source of life. How did all our ancestors survive? Food, water, the technicals, I don't know how you'd say this, the instincts of a human being, like cavemen, how they learned how to make fire and everything. I don't know exactly how any of that works, but it's just, it all comes back down to food. You get these deals, you have the presentation of it all. It's, food's getting expensive these days. It's getting more and more expensive. Back then, you probably could have got a chocolate shake for 25 cents, and that would have been like a really good bargain. Now it's like $4 for a small. Like, it's getting really expensive, and I'm thinking like in 100 years, we're gonna have the point where chocolate shakes are gonna cost like 500 pennies hunasa. I don't know. Probably that's gonna be the new form of dollars, and it's gonna be like $5 in today's world, which is still more than it is now. So, I don't know. That's just my thinking about food. I mean, it's just, it goes on and on and on. I could go on for 5 hours about this topic, about how food is just getting more expensive and it's not getting more of a taste. People back in the day, they probably didn't have as many fat people because the food was cheaper, and actually, no, that makes no sense. The food was cheaper, so why do you have more fat people? I don't know. Actually, that's a question for another day. Maybe it was because the people were smarter, maybe because we didn't have any electronics, so we didn't have to stay indoors and do what I'm doing right now, and they could go out and exercise and have fun in their life and socialize with friends, play basketball, soccer, baseball, rugby, hockey, anything, except just sit indoors and do nothing. But I mean, if you think about it all, what comes down to how food was made? First, food was probably just an animal, but then, like, how did we get to the point of vegetarians? I mean, of course, we also had plants back in the old BC days, before Common Era, however you want to say it. I don't know what before Common Era is in Latin or whatever it is. But, I mean, think about it. What was probably the first food discovered? Probably you could Google it. Was it some sort of meat, some sort of vegetable? But then think about, like, how did people, if it was vegetables, then how do we have people today who only quote-unquote survive off of meats? Like, opposite of a vegetarian. There's probably a word for that. I don't know it. And then on the opposite spectrum of that, what happens if we discovered meat first, and now we have people who just solely want to quote-unquote again survive on plants, like vegetarians? How did these people think of that way of living? How did these people adapt to that? How did they think, oh, I don't like killing animals, meat is gone out of my life, I only want plants? Like, if you think about it, what were like the first foods we ate? Most of us probably had baby food, which is a combination of meats and vegetables. So at one point you were not a vegetarian, unless your parents were vegetarians and believed in the whole religious or something. I don't know how it works, where they only fed you like little lettuce scraps every single night for food. I apologize to you, by the way, if you had that kind of babyhood, but I'm starting to get a headache from all this talking. Like, food just can take you on forever if you think about it. It's sustenance, or how do you say it? Sustenance? Sustenance? Substance? No. Sustenance? I don't know. It just takes you all the way back to food, about how these deals are doing certain things. The food's getting more expensive. People are getting fatter. More electronics are being made. Technology is being discovered every single day. New games are being released. It's getting more expensive. Everything, all these new consoles, all these new talks about new computers and PCs and laptops, and all this new stuff is going on. All these new drinks, all these new foods coming out. World is getting crazy. And now we have two candidates who are probably the worst out of everyone's opinion, coming to be running for a president. And it's not just some little deal president. This is the runner of a country. That's a pretty big deal. So, I don't know. Depending on how these goes, because obviously presidential candidates could lie. I mean, they could be talking about all that what they're going to do now and then lie about it later as soon as they become president. You never know. Maybe Donald Trump only wants people to be meat eaters. Maybe he's going to ban vegetarians and he's going to immigrate what's the word? I can't think. He's going to deport them. He's going to deport them like the Mexicans. I don't know how he's going to do it. You never know what candidates are going to do these days. You never know what people are going to do these days. You got all these killer clowns running around. People are getting scared to death because of these things. You got the flippin' iPhone 7 with the aux cord going, or the, not the aux, with a headphone jack being disappeared. It's all these things happening. You got the new Nintendo Switch or whatever, which literally looks like a brand new version of the Wii U. All this stuff is happening, and it all started with food. Changes in menus, changes in deals. You got those console deals now where you buy this console, you get a game with it to go for free as like a bundle. You have all this stuff. You get a meal, like you buy a burger, you get side of fries and a drink for $5. I don't know, something like that. It just all comes down to food. Food is like the source of life. It's like your heart. Even if you don't like food, even if you're a, what do you call them? Anorexic, where you don't eat a lot, or something like that. I don't know. It's just all comes back down to food, deals, presentation, more expensiveness, candidates. All ties in with food. And I'm not just saying that because I'm fat, because I might be a little bit biggins. But still, I mean, if you think about it, just think about it for a couple minutes. If you think about it, it all comes back down to food. Everything. Whew. Oh, my lord. Well, that was my food rant, everyone. I hope you somewhat got a kick out of it, or at least giggled. I know this isn't a usual gaming video, but I thought I'd do something different just to see if anyone likes it. I might do more of these in the future, I'm not sure yet. If you did enjoy, make sure to please click that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment telling me everything I did wrong, because I know there's nothing I did right. And yeah, hope you guys have a really amazing day. See ya.